Hello, this is Jejin again. Yeah. So today's video that I'm gonna share with you is another TED Talk videos. So the title of this video is "Your Child's Most Annoying Trait: Just Reveal Their Greatest Strength." Yeah. So the speaker of this video is Josh Shipp. And I thought this video was very, very fun and interesting. I think the way he speak and then share his stories is very, very fun. But at the end, I think he provided very, very important points about understanding and understanding or noticing some talent from your children. So I'm gonna leave the video link in the description, so you guys go ahead and you guys can go ahead and watch. And I may put another link which kind of related to his point, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah. So so in his speech, as the title mentions, he says the kids' most annoying trait may be their biggest talent in disguise, and he described how annoying kids' behavior, right? So he gave us very interesting example there of this influential and very successful people who show these annoying traits in their early age, even including Einstein, right? So the school teacher, of the Einstein at the time, I guess, they describe him as a lazy, distracted, and could not remember anything. Right? So when Einstein's father asked the principal of what kind of job he will get in the future, and the principal said it said like this: "It does not matter what he does. He will never amount to anything." That's what the principal says to Einstein's, young Einstein. It's kind of harsh in a way, but that kind of gives us a very interesting point that we need to think about. That is the social norm or the standard that we created actually make us overlook this talent or talent the kids has, right? So because we do have a certain standard that we have for kids behavior, if the kids behavior doesn't fitting in that standard or the frame that we have, then we get annoyed by this. And I think it happens all the time. So, I mean, it's just annoying as in like, well, why can't you just sit down and do certain things, and why can't you just listen to the teacher? I mean, that is a simple thing, but uh, you know, we see some abnormal, or not as abnormal, very different behavior of the kids, and we just overlook those behavior. So what it says is we should not overlook those behavior. Sometimes it annoys us, but they may show the talents or potential that kids has. So that at that point, I think that's very very important for us to think about, right? So one thing he mentioned about is for those success case he described, the example that he provided. For those people who are successful when they were knowing for people the teacher or the parents, uh, but there are at least one caring adult who actually be patient and looking at those behaviors, and that adults actually redirect this annoyance into a annoyance and then just cultivate that as a talent, right? So you hear many stories about it, right? So that's successful athletes or successful person, entrepreneur or whatnot. They have stories about how the coach changed their lives, or teacher or their parents changed their life, right? So we as a parent, I think we should pay attention to kids' behavior. So it may just you may just accept it as annoyance because you have a certain behavior or standard that you have on children, and your children doesn't behave on that frame. uh, they might give you an annoyance, but that may well be uh, the the genius that you overlook, I think. So for yeah, so I think that's a good point to think about. And then I actually had an example for this. Actually, I experienced this from my own kids. So I like to share my example, my stories on this one. So basically, yeah. So I have two daughters. One is 13, and the younger one is 10. And I think each of them has this kind of similar thing. So the first, my older one, she has some annoying trait that I didn't kind of like. So that trait was she was a busybody, right? She cares about other people's business so much. It kind of annoyed me quite a bit, and she sometimes got into a trouble for that in elementary school and in middle school as well. And and basically she got into a fight with the boy because the boy kind of bullied her friends. So she basically stood up for her friends, and sometimes she sort of brings certain things to help other kids homework or something. So but basically she got into a trouble because of just a lot of busybody sort of behaviors, right? So that annoys me quite a bit. And I think in the middle school she got into some serious fight, or that she kind of hit someone, and I need to sort of talk to her about this violence, and then we need to fix those. And we got engaged. This I got engaged. These two personal counselors. So it's a different perspective. I just wanted to see it. So two personal. I took a whole month off from the work, and I try to understand her behavior. Where this behavior come from, what she thinks, and all. And those are traits that I kind of knew, because like she is a busybody and she wanted to be a superhero. That was a sort of initial perspective that I have, because in my mind I think that is not a normal behavior, I think. But as we kind of have a counseling with the counselor, and then we kind of identify that she had a huge heart and tremendous empathy on others. So yeah, basically her details. So she omit a lot of stuff when she talked to school counselor and then principal. But a lot of stories that she had was to protect her friends, and she didn't want to mention their names because they might get into a trouble or something. So I think she was. As I talked to her more and more, I realized that my daughter, has a huge heart, and even someone who bullied her, and she didn't wanna put the person in a bad situation because she knew that person was going through some hardship. So as we talk, and now as we talk, like 80% of conversation that I had with my daughter is about her friends who are in trouble or like struggling, and she's trying to help, and that, oh, this person doesn't want to go play cello, like, but her parents are pushing it. This girl likes this boy, but this boy doesn't like her, or very common thing. But her interest is always about how can she help these her friends, and she has many friends. And many of her friends like to talk with her and then tell her their trouble, their problems. And she also has her own problems, but her empathy actually plays a lot of role in her being famous, not because of this like popularity, or she dress nice or good looking or whatnot, but she, as a good listener, she has a good communicator. I think that was the reason that she has many friends. And I'm encouraging her to be more communication, having more friends, and talk about those, and try to help solve their problems. And yeah, and now the violent portion of it is reduced, and then I don't see anything anymore. But and I talked to her like, do you want to take this sort of communication courses that is available online or something? And she liked to do it. And then I encouraged her to be, empathize other people. So I think it's a great thing. And now I don't see her being like busybody person to a huge heart, empathy, and we can actually help. I can actually help her to continue those. counseling, sort of counseling for her friends, and that to me is a good example. I mean, that I thought that was great, and then I'm encouraging her, and then help her dive into those areas. She can be a counselor in the future, or she can be a good communicator. It leads the people who can, some group of people she can represent and fix the injustice in the society or something like that. So I think that's what I'm seeing. I don't know what she's gonna be, but to looking at those annoying traits become a huge talent. I think uh, that's the example from for me. And then the younger one is a little different, but it's not about annoyance. But my younger one has this shiny, so she randomly asks certain things like, "Hey, Baba, can you buy this one for me?" And sometimes I overlook those things. I didn't pay attention to whatever she asked. But she normally don't ask me to buy toys or anything. But she asks me to buy certain things. And I think this one is when she was in third or third grade. I think year and a half back, and kind of noticed what she wanted was very specific. And what I noticed that is she had certain thing in mind, and then she wanted to try those things. And then now I pay attention to whatever she asks randomly. Just so now so what I identify, what I see from her was, so she wants a certain candy, like not regular candy, but a certain candy. And now, so when I buy those candies, and then she wanted to experiment with those candies, so her creativity just expands from what she says. So she doesn't like the regular candy. She has specific things that she wanted to try. Maybe she want to melt the candy. She want to freeze the candy. She want to mix with other candy and make some band out of it. So, the candy is not the only example, but when I saw her and she tried and I encouraged her, she has so many variations she can make the candy out of it. So it's not for her to eat, but it's for her to make this interesting candy out of one candy or a couple of different candies, and trying to create something that was very interesting. And she has some idea like, oh, okay, Papa, I want to make a pancake, but I want to have a color to it. And then I bought this food coloring and to make a different colors of the pancake. And she want to squeeze bottle, and then she want to make a little tiny pancakes, and then she want to try that out. So whenever I just kind of when she had an idea, and then I just kind of accept those. So if I ignore, then she doesn't want it to continue. So I pay attention to what she wants, and then I accept her and I encourage her. Is so many creative things happen for my daughter. So she just drew some patterns, and I say, okay, this is amazing, and then here's all other things you can do with the pattern, and then she just go expand. So she needs some encouragement on her idea, and then I just kind of have her expand to that, and then she going like crazy on this creativity acts, and then I will like my living room wall was full of her drawings of animals and patterns, and that she just think of it. And she liked to do a lot of crafts that she thought of, and then just buy me some colored papers, and then she just go in and make random sort of crafts, and those things make her. I mean, she likes to do it, and that actually boosts her confidence in expressing her creativity. So that I don't know what she's gonna be in the future, but those pay attention to those traits. It could be an annoyance. It could be something that you overlook. So that was my example for you. And then yeah, so I might add one more link. This is a video of Thomas Edison's mother. It's kind of similar as Einstein, and yeah. So I think the lesson here is to pay attention to your children's behavior. Don't look at it as an eyes of just standard that you have. Pay attention to their behavior. There might be a talent that they're telling. All right. This is for today. Thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day. Bye.